Isn't this city beautiful? Top of the morning, everybody. Thought it would be fun to do another challenge video, so I'm gonna see if I can go to 100 Citibike stations in a day. If you've never ridden a Citibike before, they're just rental bikes here in New York City. There are over 2,000 stations, so finding 100 really shouldn't be a problem. Like the 100,000 steps video, I did no preparation for this. I came up with the idea last night in bed, so I have no idea how long this is gonna take. I have no idea if I'm gonna get hurt. Only 3 rules for this challenge. Rule number 1, I can't go to the same station twice. Rule number 2, I can only ride classic bikes. So there are electrically assisted pedal bikes here, otherwise known as e-bikes. I'm not allowed to ride those unless I find a station that does not have any classic bikes at it. Third and final rule, I can't use the same bike twice. Some bikes here are great, some really suck. So we're gonna get the spread. Let's get started. Arrived to station number 1. This is my home station. And here's our first noble steed. Gonna just put a tally on my arm for every station. Honestly, the first bike's a really nice one. Station number 2. Yeah, this one's more what I'm used to. The chain isn't really greased and it's just slow as sh. Number 3 is in front of a White Castle. I've never been to White Castle. As the day goes on, I might not film every station, but I get a text from Citibike every time I dock. So I will share that entire thread in the video. Also, I am tracking this route on Strava, so I will share that as well. All right, we're at station number 9. This is something I've never seen before. So there's all these open spots down here, and everybody chose to park together. All right, that's station number 10. I can already tell this is gonna be a much longer day than I thought it would be. I left my apartment with no water because I'm an idiot and I am getting really thirsty, so gonna have to stop at a bodega soon here. It's 82 and sunny and I'm pedaling bikes all day. I did the first 10 stations in a little over a half hour, so at this pace, I think I should finish in about 5.5 hours if everything goes according to plan and I can keep this pace up, but I doubt that. What's your guys' favorite Gatorade flavor? Comment below. That's life in the big city. Man, station 15, I was so close to getting my first e-bike. Remember, I'm not allowed to use the same bike, so this is the one that I just parked. And there's only one classic bike here. All right, this is the first of the day. I'm about to park somewhere that has no bikes there. As I suspected, the station's just broken. None of these terminals work, so that sucks. We can't count it if we don't dock it. This seat needs to be reupholstered. Looks like alligator skin. So these vents right here are what's known as hostile architecture. Above those vents in the winter, it gets real warm, so people who are homeless will try to lie on top of the vents to get warm. And in order to prevent loitering, the city designs the vents so that they're uncomfortable to lie down on. That's why they're all curved, and it wouldn't be nice to lie down on that. Kind of a controversial practice, you know, but just pointing it out. These are the Marcy houses. This is where Jay-Z grew up. Just had a second station where all the docks were broken. Man, that is such a annoyance. I'm also just wasting a bunch of time at stoplights like this where I can't cross. There's no break in the traffic, so I'm just stuck waiting. It's getting a little bit annoying. When I was doing the 100,000 steps in a day video, if I came to a crosswalk where I had to stop, I could just go left or right to kill some time until I got to one that was open. But with this challenge, I have to go to the corner where the station is, so it's just a lot of wasted time. Huh, I've never seen this design before. This must be brand new. Interesting. I like that noise. It was like a bloop bloop. All the sunblock on my arm is starting to ruin the marker. See, it's getting more difficult. Here she is, station number 25. See if I can pull in without getting off. Oh, so close. It's hard to do while holding the phone. There we go, boom, 25. I'm gonna be honest, doing that 3 more times right now just sounds like a lot. I think once I get to 50, it'll be a big boost. All right, guys, station 26, I get my first e-bike. That's the classic bike I just parked. That e-bike doesn't work. Shut up. Boom, this is my only option. Skirt. All right, I just parked at this station and all of these bikes have the red light on, which means they're all broken. So this is the first time, but I gotta walk to the next station Kind of a cool looking building. We're about 2 hours in. I'm about to be at station number 30. I'm not feeling all that tired, but I'm just getting bored. So I think it's time to throw in the AirPods. Station 31's our first dual-sided station. We're also finally on our first true bike path of the day. Ferrari Portofino. That is the entry-level Ferrari. Small baller. Just hit station 40. This marker's not working on my skin anymore. You can see how red it got from me trying to press down and get the slash across the 5 there. Sadly, I think I'm gonna just have to keep track on my phone from here out. I really wanted the 100 tally marks, but what are you gonna do? Really don't like the look of those clouds. I didn't check the weather this morning, so that's my own fault if I get rained on. Made it to Mordor. All right, station 47, we get our second e-bike. So that's the bike I just rode. This one is broken. There are no other bikes here, so we get the e-bike. Holy crap, station 48 is also only e-bikes. I really needed this little boost right now, so this is helping. This part of Brooklyn's really pretty. All right, here's station number 50. Boom. Halfway through this challenge, first of all, I'm getting pretty hungry. It's been a little over 3 hours. All I had this morning was a bowl of cereal, so I'm getting pretty hungry. I just had a station where, you know, I had to try putting the bike into 5 different slots. It wouldn't work. I had to move to another station. 3 more wouldn't work, and then I couldn't unlock a bike. It took like 3 tries. That is the frustrating part, is just all the downtime at these stations when I'm on my phone trying to scan it. It won't work. At station what would have been 49, I got so frustrated I just rammed the bike into a dock like 3 times just at full force. I was just so pissed off. Other than that, I mean, it's been fun. I'm enjoying the actual biking, but yeah, the constant stop and start is mentally testing me, and I should probably get some food in me soon because I'm getting a little bit hangry. So I'm gonna keep pushing for a few more stations here, and then I think I gotta eat. Stop number 55. Yeah, I'm really just starting to get irritated by everybody on the road who's not me. It's a combination of boredness, tiredness, hunger, kind of all 3 of those. So after the next stop, I'm at a pretty nice viewpoint here. At station 56, I think I'm gonna hop off for a little bit and just kind of regroup. Like, having a ride on this right now is really just pushing me off. Every little thing is just starting to bother me. During these challenges, it's important to keep morale up. That is a heaping bunful of morale. I love a good lobster roll. That place got a little bit too cutesy with it, like they put the cucumbers in there and something was shaved on top. Good lobster, you don't really need that much. Just a little bit of butter, a little bit of mayo. Let the lobster talk for itself. Don't overdo it. Definitely feeling a lot better. That put me in a much better mood. I'm gonna get back to biking, but real quick, I just wanna show you guys one thing here. So this is the financial district in Manhattan, and it's a really beautiful skyline. But amongst all these cool buildings, you have this one really ugly, unfinished one right here. That building is called One Seaport, and when they started building it, they used a different kind of method to build the foundation than what's traditional here. And they got to that point in the construction that you saw and realized that the building was actually slanted. It was tilting at like a 3 or 4 degree angle. So they had to stop construction on that building, and it's just been sitting since 2020. Demolition is very expensive, and obviously with all those buildings around, it'd be very complex, big safety issue. So yeah, if you're ever in FIDI and you see that really ugly building, that's why it's there. All right, I just kind of decided on a whim that I want to go into Manhattan. I don't know why. I think partially just to change scenery, but also I'm kind of trapped here. I've been to a lot of the stations in this little cluster, so yeah, I'm just gonna give myself kind of a fresh start here in Manhattan, and I might end up hating this, but it just seems like the right idea right now. Man, I could use some AC right now. All right, our first Manhattan station. 58, 59, 60, 61. First time I ever had my heart broken. This Citibike station right here. 62, See, these are the moments that get me. I scanned this bike 30 seconds ago. The app's trying to decide whether or not the bike works, and I just end up sitting here. I just got the text, bike is unavailable for rental. Please try another bike. That takes like 30, 45 seconds when a bike is failing, and those just add up, and it just pisses me off. Station 67, that's the bike I just parked. E-bikes only. We've had a few stations really close together, so I think Manhattan is officially a good move. Station 72 and 73 back-to-back e-bikes. Bash! Station number 74, I just had to scan 8 classic bikes before one would work. Station 74, you're officially my least favorite. Station 75. There are no bikes available here, except for this one e-bike that is broken, so gotta walk to the next one. 75 is a little bit of a deceiving number because it makes you feel like you're just about done with the challenge, but in reality, I remember what the first 25 felt like, and you are not close to done. Once I hit like 90, I'll allow myself to be a little bit excited. I rewatched Tiger King this week. Documentary's nuts. If you're a big fan of the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans, this is the building where Norman and Harry Osborn's apartment was. They lived in that penthouse in the movie. I love the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans. What I'm learning in Manhattan is what I really should have done from the start is take advantage of these really long avenues that just go the whole length of the island. Even though I have to bike more between stations, there's just less turning, there's less lights to deal with, so ultimately I think I'm saving time, and I've been cruising like the last 15 stations, so it feels good. Station 86. And behind that Corolla is Station 87. Of course, the 2 closest stations of the day would be one that gives me an e-bike. One of those is the one I just took, one of them's broken. Because that's an e-bike, I don't get them for free like I do the classic bikes because I have an annual membership, so to drive from back across the street to here cost me 54 cents. Station number 90! Now the excitement's starting to set in a little bit. You know, I can kind of smell victory at this point. Station 94, all the bikes are broken, so we get a walk. It's like 5:45 now. Basically everybody's out of work. The streets are getting really congested. It's just kind of crappy right now. I was coasting for a while there, and now it's just everything's slowing down. These last 4 stops have just dragged. Station 95. I am so done with the broken bikes at this point. It's gonna make me lose my mind. Look at all these reds. Red, 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 red. All the bikes are broken. We gotta walk to another one. All right, making another big executive decision here. It has taken almost an hour to do the last 6 stations in Manhattan. So I am going back to Brooklyn, and I'm finishing the last 4 stations in Brooklyn close to my apartment. That way I can kind of enjoy it, be in a happy mood, take a shower right when I'm done. So back to Bushwick. I am so happy to be back in Bushwick. Let's finish these last 4 stations. Station 97, 98, looks like an e-bike only station. Station 99. 100. Man, I'm so happy to be done with that. I don't want to see a Citibike for a month. And I love that I finished close to home. Just gonna Grubhub some food and rip a cold shower. It's gonna be awesome. My final time was 5 hours and 56 minutes. I did pause my timer when I went to eat, and I also paused it when I was on the subways. Get in my belly. So as promised earlier in the video, here are all of the texts that I got from Citibike today confirming the unique stations that I stopped at. Feel free to slow the clip down, all 100 are there. And this is what the route looked like. I tracked it on Strava. I did have to gray out 2 sections manually there, you can see, because that's when I was on the subway and I was a bozo and just forgot to turn Strava off. It doesn't look like a ton of distance, but I'm doing a lot of left and right turns when I'm in Brooklyn to try and get to the closest stations. The final mile count on Strava was 34.21 miles, and I think about 7 miles of that was subway, just estimating. So the actual biking mileage was probably closer to 27 miles total. You have to take that with a grain of salt though, because again, some of that is subway and I'm just never gonna know for sure what the actual mileage was. All right, so it's the next day. My final thoughts on this challenge, I think it sounded a little bit more fun in my head than it actually was. The actual biking was a ton of fun. It was just the constant starting and stopping that was really starting to frustrate me, and frankly, that just doesn't really make for good content either. Me docking and undocking the city bikes and all the time spent sifting through the broken ones, you know, I gave a few updates, but it just doesn't make for great content. So if I were to redo this challenge, and I might do this in the future, I'd just see if I could city bike for 100 miles in a day. I know it sounds daunting, but you know, if I could walk 50 miles in a day, I don't see why I couldn't city bike 100 miles in a day. Making these videos is always fun regardless, so hope you guys enjoyed the episode, and we'll see you next time. Peace.